When I took the refund form to my manager for his signature, he slammed his hand on the desk and pointed a finger square at my nose. An $8,000 refund? What the hell kind of job are you doing? Ben over there only had $700 in refunds. Lily only had $300. Even Chris, who had the most, was only at $1,000. How is it that you have this much? I patiently explained. Ben's total prepayments were only $6,000. Lily's were $3,000. My prepayments totaled $200,000. In terms of percentage, my refund rate is the lowest in the department. Don't give me this percentage nonsense. I'm looking at the bottom line, he roared. They're refunding $300 and you're refunding $8,000, and you have the nerve to ask for my signature? This is coming out of your salary. The company is not paying for your incompetence. Half an hour later, our largest client sent over an urgent project proposal. My manager, Mr. Miller, handed it to me. I looked at him calmly. Mr. Miller, based on your assessment of my performance half an hour ago, I believe my incompetence makes me unfit to handle such an important task. It would be best to avoid causing the company any further losses. Our company, Summit Creatives, had a system where clients could book a planner up to 6 months in advance to secure their spot. To sweeten the deal, the policy stated that clients could get a full, no questions asked refund at any point before the official planning work began. As the company's senior planner, I had the most bookings. Naturally, that also meant I had the highest total refund amount. A lot can change in 6 months. Before launching this system, our risk assessment department had projected a refund rate of around 10%. My actual rate was 4%, yet it had somehow sent my manager into a blind rage. After being kicked out of his office, I had barely sat down at my desk when my phone buzzed with a notification. Direct deposit received, $500. It was immediately followed by a message from the head of accounting per company directive. The $8,000 loss you caused through negligence will be deducted from your monthly salary. However, in consideration of your living expenses, the company has decided to leave you with $500 per month. Please consider this a gesture of the company's humanitarian concern. I stared at the message. My monthly salary of $10,000 had been reduced to a mere $500. My blood ran cold. Humanitarian concern? What a joke. A moment later, the same message, slightly rephrased, was posted in the company-wide Slack channel at Planner Grace Adler, due to personal error resulting in an $8,000 loss, will have this amount deducted from her monthly salary to serve as a warning to others. In the spirit of humanism, the company will continue to pay this employee a stipend of $500 for living expenses until the $8,000 is fully repaid. The office went quiet as my colleagues read the announcement. Heads slowly turned in my direction. I saw a mix of pity, shock, and a few poorly concealed smirks. It didn't take long for the sycophants to chime in on the Slack channel. Wow, still making sure an employee who messed up has living expenses covered. Our company really is like a family. Mr. Miller is so considerate. Grace is so lucky to have a manager like you. I typed a cold reply. You can have my good fortune if you want it. The channel went silent. A minute later, Mr. Miller responded directly. At Grace Adler, are you suggesting you shouldn't be held accountable for the $8,000 loss your mistake caused? I replied, could you please specify exactly what my mistake was? Complete silence. 10 minutes later, Mr. Miller posted another official announcement in the channel, his anger palpable in every word. At channel, after an internal performance review, senior planner Grace Adler has been deemed incapable of handling significant responsibilities. Effective immediately, she is demoted to the position of junior designer. Her base salary will be reduced to $2,000 per month, and she will be ineligible for any commissions for the next 3 months. I stared at the message and let out a cold, humorless laugh. Not only was the baseless salary cut illegal, but a $2,000 monthly salary was well below the state's minimum wage. I quietly took a screenshot. Evidence. Mr. Miller then added another message. On the other hand, look at Lily. She may be a junior planner, but her refund total was only $300. That's a real team player who thinks about the company's bottom line. She never angles for a fancy title. She just quietly gets the work done. Lily quickly replied, thank you for the recognition, sir. I just try to work a little harder than everyone else. Then, she added another jab. Some people with $8,000 in refunds should be ashamed to even show their face at work. If it were me, I'd be too embarrassed to stay. Calling yourself a senior planner might fool outsiders, but we all know it's just an empty suit. Mr. Miller was ecstatic. Everyone, see the dedication Lily has. I expect all of you to learn from her example. Please reply with acknowledged. The acknowledged replies started trickling in. Then, Mr. Miller tagged me specifically. At Grace Adler, why haven't you responded? Are you refusing to comply with company directives? I slowly typed out my reply, acknowledged. I guarantee my refund amount will be $0 from now on. It was an easy promise to keep. All I had to do was stop taking orders, with no commission for the next 3 months. Why would I kill myself working? I immediately logged into the company's booking portal and deactivated my profile. Let's see who breaks first, me or Mr. Miller. I was browsing flights to the Maldives when the founder of our biggest client, Thorn Industries, walked into the office. Our company had an annual retainer with Thorn, a contract that accounted for a staggering $20 million of our yearly profit. Usually, Julian Thorn sent an assistant to convey his requirements. The fact that he came in person meant this project was of the highest importance. Thorn Industries was notoriously demanding. For years, every single one of their projects had been handled personally by me. The one time I was out sick, a team of 10 other planners took a crack at their proposal and failed to produce anything that met his standards. In the end, I had to finish the project from my hospital bed. You can rest assured, Mr. Thorn. We've been partners for so long. Have we ever let you down? Mr. Miller's voice boomed from his office. You just head back and wait. 3 days. I guarantee we'll have a proposal for you in 3 days. Miller escorted a stony-faced Julian Thorne out of his office, practically bowing as he saw him to the elevator. 3 days? Thorne's events were always massive, complex undertakings. I was the only person in the entire company who could deliver a high-caliber plan on that kind of timeline. But since Miller had just demoted me, he surely wouldn't be shameless enough to hand the project to me now, right? The atmosphere in the office grew tense. No one wanted this hot potato. What do we do? Mr. Thorne came himself. This project must be a monster. Who do you think Miller will give it to? Is it even a question? Who else besides Grace could possibly handle it? And did you hear him? 3 days. No way. He just finished publicly humiliating her. He wouldn't have the face to ask her now. I bet he gives it to Lily. She got all that praise today. Lily's face went white with terror. I have too many clients right now and several urgent deadlines of my own. I don't have time. I had to laugh. She had only booked $3,000 in prepayments over the last 3 months. What deadlines? The truth was, she was terrified to take it. The commission on a Thorne project was enormous, but everyone knew it wasn't easy money. They might have been jealous of my bonuses, but none of them ever had the guts to actually volunteer for the job. Mr. Miller returned from the elevator. With every step he took, the air in the office grew heavier. Everyone stared intently at their screens, praying they wouldn't make eye contact, but we had all underestimated the thickness of Mr. Miller's skin. He walked straight to my desk, my office. Now, a wave of whispers followed me. I knew it. It had to be Grace. You think she'll take it? Of course she will. She didn't even fight back when they docked her salary for the $8,000 refund. She's a doormat. No spine at all. I ignored the whispers and walked into Mr. Miller's office. He leaned back in his executive chair and gestured casually at a folder on his desk. Thorne Industries is planning a client appreciation event. Take this file, look it over, and have the proposal on my desk in 3 days. His tone, his posture, it was as if the man who had docked my pay and demoted me just an hour ago had never existed. I shrugged. Sorry, Mr. Miller, I can't do it. He shot upright in his chair. You haven't even looked at the file and you're already refusing? Is that the kind of work ethic we value here? He snapped. You know how important Thorne Industries is to this company. Are you really going to put your personal feelings ahead of the company's best interests? I looked at him with an expression of pure innocence. It's precisely because I understand their importance that I can't accept this project. It's for the good of the company. I'm just a junior designer now. How could I possibly create a proposal in 3 days that would satisfy someone as meticulous as Mr. Thorne? I think Lily would be a great fit for this. You should give it to her. With that, I turned and walked out of his office. The moment the door clicked shut, I heard the sound of a mug shattering against the wall. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. The caller ID showed it was Mr. Davison, the director from our corporate headquarters. Clearly, Miller knew he couldn't bully me into submission, so he was calling in the big guns. I made a decision. If Davison was reasonable and offered a fair solution, I'd take the Thorne project. If he was calling to pressure me, then sorry, but the Maldives were calling my name. Grace? Mr. Davison's friendly voice came through the line as soon as I answered. Mr. Miller just told me what happened. You have to understand, the company has its policies. Try not to bring personal emotions into your work, he said smoothly. Look, I'll step in here. You go ahead and work on this proposal. Mr. Miller has agreed that if Thorne Industries is satisfied, he'll promote you to a mid-level planner. You just keep working hard and you'll be back to senior planner in no time. And that $8,000 refund, how could we make you pay for that? I've already spoken to Mr. Miller. The company has decided to cover half. You'll only have to pay back $4,000. As for your base salary, all junior designers are at $4,000, so we can't make an exception for you there. But we'll make sure you get your commission on this project. How does that sound? Every word was coded in a syrupy, patronizing tone that was meant to sound like he was doing me a favor, but it was all just a calculated maneuver. A corporate executive was never going to side with an employee over a branch manager. It was just bad form. I adopted the same gentle tone. Mr. Davison, I'd never want to take advantage of the company. I couldn't possibly let you pay for my mistake. That $8,000, I'll pay whatever I'm responsible for. Grace, I knew you were a sensible employee. I wasn't finished, sir. I'll pay every cent that I owe, but I won't pay a single cent that I don't. The company's booking policy explicitly allows clients to receive a no questions asked refund. Why am I being held financially responsible for a client exercising that right? If you can show me the legal basis for these deductions, I will gladly pay the $8,000. As for the Thorne proposal, I am truly not capable of handling it. You should have Mr. Miller assign it to someone more competent. We wouldn't want to delay such an important project. After hanging up, I immediately booked a flight to the Maldives for the next morning. Before leaving for the airport, I called Mr. Miller to request my annual leave. Grace, what is the meaning of this? The Thorne project is on a tight deadline and you're trying to bail? He bellowed. I'm telling you, your vacation is not approved. You get back to this office right now. I replied calmly. According to labor law, a company cannot unreasonably deny an employee's request for paid annual leave. All of my assigned projects are complete, and my next bookings aren't until next month. My leave does not interfere with any ongoing work, making it a perfectly reasonable and legal request. Miller roared. Who said there's no work? The Thorne project is work. You're abandoning a critical task and you have the nerve to talk about what's reasonable and legal? You are violating company policy and labor laws. I have every right to deny this request. I smiled. Mr. Miller, you haven't forgotten the fine print in the Thorne Industries contract, have you? What? All of the client's projects must be handled by one of the vendor's senior planners. I enunciated every word clearly. Yesterday, you announced my demotion to junior designer. So, by the terms of the contract, this project isn't my responsibility anyway. He was utterly speechless. He had been so focused on his petty power trip that he'd set a landmine for himself. I hung up the phone with a cold smile, switched it off, and boarded the plane. According to the contract, if Summit Creatives failed to meet the requirements of the agreement, Thorn Industries could terminate the contract without penalty, and Summit would be required to pay a penalty of 10 times the annual contract value. The Thorn contract was worth $20 million a year. 10 times that was $200 million, trading $200 million for an $8,000 refund. It was a business deal Mr. Miller would never forget. 3 days later, after a glorious afternoon of sunbathing on a pristine beach, I lazily switched my phone back on. It immediately vibrated so violently it sent sand flying. My notifications had exploded.